Hey there, this is John with a real quick intro message. We've gotten off track last couple of weeks on podcast release dates, so please binge listen to them and we'll be right back on track in a jiffy. You are listening to the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Thanks for joining us for this next episode, where we get into important questions that you have and how they can be explained so that they don't get in the way of succeeding. Here we are in episode 10. This is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching, happiness. When you change you change everything. Last week, we talked about habits and how we have to not only acknowledge them and use them, but how we also have to start slow and adjust ourselves to handling it. This week, the pod is about how investors make money. Now, don't worry if you don't have habits down yet. If you listen to a lot of podcasts like I do, you might be used to hearing podcast hosts say that you should really go back and listen to the previous episode. They do that so that you can get context. They do. Now, that probably sounds like I work for the Podcast Association, if that's even a thing. Of course, I don't. I'm just trying to be fair. I mean, really, they are also getting you to listen to their old messages again, and more importantly, the ads again. But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt because, as I've said before, it's all good. Mostly, you don't have to worry because I'm going to keep coming back to the basic themes of happiness and success over and over and over again. It's called repetition and it works. How does this play into simple success? I'll get to that in a minute. Hello, everyone. This is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Because we know you want to show us some serious love in return for the tremendous benefits you get from us, please head over to https://anchor.fm/ simple success. That's one word, simple success, / support. There, you can choose from a $9.99 per month investor level of support, a $4.99% level, or a basic intro level of just 99 cents per month. That's not much when you compare it to a stockbroker, right? And this is so much more sensible. To leave us a voice message, which just might see the light of day in a future podcast, go to https://anchor.fm/ simple success. Again, one word, simple success, / message. I won't repeat those links because weird. And anyway, show notes. In that spirit, today's episode is how investors make money. Once upon a time, there was this person, and this person called himself an investor. One day, this investor did some thinking, and what he thought was, when can I retire? Well, he did think like that, but we don't know if those were his exact words to himself. What he was really asking was, how do I know I can live indefinitely without having income coming from somebody else? Because that's really the question that we all have and should have. So how do we solve that problem? We make money. How do we make money? The way in which most people manifest this is to have a job. And while that's understandable, there are flaws with that thinking. The first being that you're working for somebody else. You're not calling the shots in your life. That's not a long-term recipe for success for most people, particularly not most listeners to this pod. If you haven't found out yet, being your own boss can be awesome. But back to our investor. He's thinking to himself, how do I make money other than having a job? I already have a job. And speaking from the host's perspective here, that's important. But he's also asking, what if I didn't have a job? One realistic answer to that question is to invest. And that leads to the question that is the topic of this episode, which is, how do investors make money? They make money by investing in something, anything. I'm talking stock. I'm talking Bitcoin. I'm talking real estate. I'm talking a lot of different possibilities here. I'm not here promoting one right answer. In fact, I believe that all of the answers are the right answer in the proportion that's right for you and your goals. So our investor is thinking, how do I make money by investing? He's crystallizing his thinking. He's getting more and more specific. And as you will see, more and more specific is not actually more complex. It is, in fact, simpler because you're refining your thinking and not having to divert your brain's attention to other routes that aren't solving your direct problem. Now, why is that important? Well, because none of us have unlimited brain power, not even our investor who is asking how do investors make money. How they make money is opportunities. They find an opportunity in which they can put money to work. This is money they already have, however they got it. And if you need help with that, we have our coaching options. Then they effectively lend it to someone or something for a specific purpose with which they agree. In return for that, they receive back more than they put in. Now, let's say they put in $1,000, which they'll take back out after an agreeable amount of time. Now, ideally, agreeable means both for the investor and for the one receiving the money. The one receiving the money up front pays the investor back more than $1,000, maybe $1,200 or $1,400. The right amount is not our topic here. That's way more specific. It's determined by what the investor is seeking and what the receiver of money is comfortable with when they come to an agreement. That's how it works. That's how investors make money. You, same thing. You find a thing that you want to do, whether it's real estate or stock or Bitcoin or many other things. You find something that you are comfortable with, that you're enthusiastic about, to start. We'll go uncomfortable soon enough, but let's start out comfortable and easy. So our fictional investor has come around to the idea that it is not only possible, but good to make money other ways in addition to having a job. Put something out in order to get something back. That's a common thread. Now, how do we get there? We get there by connecting these ideas to our goals, not to other people's goals. Oh, no. Do not compare yourself to others along the way. That's one of the biggest mistakes, if not the biggest mistake that investors can make, comparing themselves to others. Yes, we do compare opportunities, but no, we don't compare ourselves to others. Here's another example. We have an opportunity for investment A, which gives us a return and has other important facts about it. Or we could take the opportunity for investment B, which has a different return and different other important facts. We take the one which makes us happiest, which makes us the most comfortable, and which gets us to our goals. You don't have to feel pressured to invest in someone else's so-called right way, as long as you understand and accept the trade-offs which might be there. So yes, we compare investments, but no, we don't compare ourselves to others. For example, if I got 15% this year, which is way better than anyone should really expect, I feel good. But then I go out and talk to my neighbor, and my neighbor says, oh, well, I got 16%. This is a trap. Don't fall into that trap. Find out what's right for you, what you want, and stick to that. So we're comparing opportunities. How we make those opportunities is what we look at next. Details on that coming up. Let's get on with some of the things to remember about today's topic, which again is how investors make money. The first one is, and I'm going to be very transparent here and say that these ideas really are how I make money and how you should make money. So with that disclaimed, here we go. Be the boss. I will never forget one time when I had my own financial advising office and I was in charge of that office. I went to outfit that place with some nice things that fit my environment. One of those things was at a store I went where the clerk asked me, "Does the boss let you do that?" To which I immediately responded, "I am the boss." Think about that. Since you are the one in charge of every aspect of your life, you are the one who is going to win. We're here to apply that to investing, and this is one of the ways you can do that. The second thing, have MSIs. At least one MSI. Really, you should have many more of them, but that's an add-on topic. But what are MSIs? MSI is an acronym which means multiple sources of income. Some people say multiple streams of income. Both are good, they mean the same thing. What it is having a source of income other than what most people consider to be their primary income, which, as I said before, is often their job. Having multiple sources of income means, among other things, that if one source of income has a bad time of it, say as in during a pandemic, when people have lost their jobs and therefore could no longer rely on that source of income, landlords have not been getting paid rent. That's not even close to being a complete list of side effects that we know about, and many other that we don't even know about yet. This is a problem to be sure, but it is far less of a problem when our dependence on it is also far less. When we have 2 or 5 or eventually 10 or more MSIs, the critical importance of any one of them is a lot less. That reduces worry, and that's the way it should be. We also reduce worry with the third step, which is be patient. You will not get this advice from anyone who is actively receiving their only, or at least their most important source of income from the financial industry. To be fair, they have a goal like anyone else, and in their case, it's getting people to use their product so that they in turn have a job, make money, care for their family and community, and, well, fill in the blank with their own motivations. Using their product, though, means, as we say in the biz, making trades, and making trades can include not being patient. Warren Buffett has famously recommended buying and forgetting that you bought. This idea shares some of that philosophy. Even though buying and holding is sometimes derided as holding on for dear life, which has even been shortened to the acronym HODL, pronounced HODL, it's also patient. Now, excitement is a good thing, don't get me wrong. I just don't recommend getting it here, however. Bottom line, everyone's choices are individual to what they want. And it takes time to find those things out. You have to be patient while you try those things. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as the saying goes, but don't do the opposite either, is what my saying is. Try it. See how it feels, and then slowly and surely expand. But start small. Start a small habit. Do a little bit every week. This is what I do. I decided on a dollar figure that I wanted to invest in various assets. Some stocks, some crypto, some real estate, etc., etc., etc. I took that and broke it down into a weekly number. I just took the annual number and divided it by 52. And then I rounded to the nearest dollar since I'm in the US. You, of course, can just make that adjustment for your own country's denominations. Then I set it up in various systems, like a calendar system and an online banking system and so forth. The result is that I automatically invest that weekly number. It's the same thing every week 1 of the month. I invest that weekly number again in a different asset on week 2 of every month. Same with weeks 3 and 4. And for the occasional week 5, which occurs only about 4 or 5 times a year, I put that same number into an investment in which I have slightly lower confidence. But I still do it, and that's the point. I start small, and I build my confidence just like you will. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Also remember, this is financial coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Here's a great personal example
The rabbit
of a time when
hole.
something good happened.
This is the part of the podcast where I'm learning to put those tangents I often go on. I had to create this segment to have a place to put those tangents, with the idea of tying them into the topic of the episode. Thanks to my rabbit hole advisor, I'm undertaking an effort to stay on topic and not fall down those rabbit holes like I know I do sometimes. I've also learned from her that, well, at least in Australia, one can avoid falling down rabbit holes by talking to the rabbit. In other words, letting experts go on those tangents. I'm going to keep that in mind when I'm looking for guests for future episodes of this podcast, so everyone is forewarned in a humorous way.
I am now convinced that just as many writers have told the story of benefits of a positive attitude, I'm saying the same thing. I'm also helping you connect that mindset to successful investing. And just like magic, I turn the question around, this time into a statement. How do investors make money becomes, this is how you and I make money. It's flipping the script, and this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching, happiness. Since this is a big part of your happiness, I'm going to walk down another street, one without rabbit holes, by calling on expert guests and, most importantly, you. When we're done with that, we'll point you to the voice message link for future pods.
In this Simple Success podcast, as well as in our webinars and masterclasses, we are very, very much going to want to hear your story. Well, to be real, I mean in future episodes of the podcast's webinars and masterclasses. This means you. Your participation is critical to our mutual simple success. It's important to know how you think, what you've thought, what you've tried, and what you've been unsure of trying. As we told you at the beginning, and as you also find in the show notes, we have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a voice message, which just might see the light of day in a future podcast. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know when that happens. Together, we're going to make it great. We're going to do what even we didn't think possible. We know a lot about you already because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to a podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. The reason every podcast asks you this is because when you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. This means better rankings, more attention from advertisers, more money, and that means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. There is no try, there is only do. Remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Right after this, we'll explore some more important detail you should know. But for now, use your imagination to help create your story.
And to remind you, everyone listening can head to that voice message link in the show notes to record a voice message for a future podcast. Anyway, to wrap up the story, how investors make money, we put ourselves at the center of our results. We ensure our results include MSIs. We're patient, we're small, and we're persistent. Next week, we're going to look at another concept, and that is, what's a settlement date? Now, that got picked for me by my topics randomizer, so you know I'm not prepackaging this stuff, but instead making it relevant so we can all, me included, learn how to do this right. We're going to bring that into the world of investing. It's going to be a great episode, but for now, remember,
Happy International Happiness Day. I mean, all you need to do is practice, after which you'll get good. Gracias por escuchar. A la próxima.